corruption probe in Kyiv, a cabinet shaken, and now revelations of direct input from Washington. A new report to the U.S. Congress says American officials provided strategic guidance to a Ukrainian anti-corruption investigation that rocked President Volodymyr Zelensky's government last November. At the heart of a political tempest, allegations swirl around alleged kickbacks at Ukraine's state nuclear giant Energoatom. The indictment of businessman Timur Mindich set off shockwaves in Kyiv, sparking a cabinet reshuffle and the abrupt dismissal of President Volodymyr Zelensky's longtime chief of staff. The probe, led by Ukraine's National Anti-Corruption Bureau, NABU, alongside the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office, casts a stark spotlight on the nexus of business, politics, and power, a storm threatening to reshape the corridors of authority in Ukraine. According to a joint quarterly report by U.S. Inspectors General overseeing the Pentagon, State Department, and USAID, the U.S. Department of Justice offered what it called case-based strategic advice and guidance. The report says that support enabled Ukrainian prosecutors to pursue major corruption cases tied to the state-owned energy sector. This week, investigators charged former Energy Minister German Galushchenko with money laundering, alleging he helped channel proceeds from the scheme out of Ukraine. Galushchenko denies the accusations, claiming surveillance records were edited to distort conversations, including communications with Zelensky. He says that as energy minister, he spoke with the president non-stop. Some Ukrainian media outlets now suggest Washington used the Energoatom case to pressure Zelensky into negotiations with Moscow, under mediation from U.S. President Donald Trump. There is no public evidence confirming that claim. Zelensky insists Ukraine is not losing on the battlefield. He is pushing for NATO security guarantees and proposing a 2-month ceasefire to hold a referendum on potential peace terms. Moscow has rejected that idea, saying it will not allow Ukraine time to rebuild its military. According to the same U.S. report, from July to December 2025, Russian forces retained overall warfighting superiority, while Ukrainian troops grappled with critical shortages of equipment and manpower. For Kyiv, the struggle has expanded far beyond the battlefield. The fight now rages in courtrooms, cabinet chambers, and the shadowed corridors of international power, a battle for survival in every arena.
Я сняла на видео это все.
Disturbing scenes emerging from Ukraine over the country's increasingly chaotic military mobilization campaign. A video circulating widely in Ukrainian media purports to show another episode of violent enforcement against civilians, underscoring rising public resentment toward compulsory conscription. The incident reportedly unfolded on Thursday in a village in Chernigov region, where uniformed officers confronted several civilians, including women. In the footage, one officer appears to kick a man in the face before throwing another individual, possibly a woman, to the ground. The same officer is then seen striking the person in the head with his handgun as a colleague rushes in and repeatedly punches the first target. Local police later stated that officials attempting to apprehend a man evading military service were forced to defend themselves from unknown individuals. The clip is one of several recent cases fueling growing anger over mandatory mobilization. On Monday, in Odessa, members of a draft patrol were filmed casually spraying a man in the face. An eyewitness who sent the footage to a city news channel claimed the recruiters realized their target was over 60 years old and therefore eligible only for voluntary enlistment. On Tuesday in Ternopil, a conscription van allegedly drove over a woman's foot. The vans used in such operations have given violent mobilization a grim nickname, bussification. While Ukrainian officials insist that many videos circulating online are fabrications, authorities in Kyiv acknowledge that violent incidents are undermining the campaign. Human rights ombudsman Dmitry Lubinets told lawmakers this month that his office is facing what he described as an avalanche of complaints against draft officials. He warns that the volume of grievances signals a systemic crisis. This week, tensions escalated further when football player Daniel Kolesnik was dismissed from his club and placed under nighttime house arrest. Kolesnik allegedly punched a draft official. He maintains he was defending his neighbor, who holds an exemption, from assault by a draft squad. According to his account, he immediately reported the altercation to police. Several athletes have publicly praised Kolesnik, describing him as a good man who did nothing wrong. These confrontations come as the Ukrainian military grapples with acute manpower shortages, mass desertion, and high attrition and ongoing hostilities with Russia. In Dnipropetrovsk, another dramatic confrontation unfolded on Friday. Draft officers attempted to forcibly conscript a young man on the street. When a civilian passerby intervened, he was sprayed with tear gas. The man stumbled into the path of an oncoming truck, narrowly avoiding serious injury. In a startling twist, the truck driver leapt from his vehicle. Wielding what appeared to be a crowbar, the elderly man chased the officers down the street. Social media users quickly dubbed him Deadpool. The commotion allowed the targeted man to escape. A day later in Odessa, civilians once again intervened. This time they reportedly used tear gas to free a detained man from what critics describe as a press gang. The Odessa Regional Conscription Center claimed its personnel sustained bodily injuries of varying degrees of severity and chemical burns to the corneas. Officials also reported damage to a service vehicle. Authorities have warned of severe legal consequences for those involved. As videos continue to surface, the mobilization drive appears increasingly volatile. Public frustration, official denials, and mounting complaints are converging into a combustible situation. The images now circulating paint a stark picture of a campaign struggling under pressure and a population showing signs of open defiance.